the special ingredient. Have you ever tasted perfection? I don't mean a good meal. I mean a meal that feels like a secret. You sit in the warm light of a restaurant, and every flavor is a revelation, layered, profound, almost alive. You think, I need this tomorrow. I have to take this magic home. But sometimes you can't. The restaurant has a rule, a strict, non-negotiable policy. No takeout. A charming quirk, you assume. A commitment to quality. What if it's a commitment to something else? What if that perfection is bound to that place, to that specific air, and taking it away breaks a spell, or worse, frees something? This is the story of Greyhaven, and the price of its magic. It begins with two friends, Lily, who lived for the next viral sensation, and Claire, who trusted her gut more than any review. Lily had fought for weeks to get a reservation at Greyhaven. It was the city's impossible table. The chef, Alara, was a ghost online. No social media, just whispers of genius forged in Parisian kitchens. The moment they stepped inside, Claire felt it. The air wasn't just warm, it was close, heavy. It smelled of exquisite food, yes, but underneath, like old stone and dried lavender. The room was beautiful, all dark wood and pools of amber light, but the shadows between the tables felt deep, watchful. Then the food came, and it was transcendent. It was more than delicious. The herb-crusted lamb didn't just taste of rosemary and garlic. It tasted of the very idea of feast. The seafood risotto was a symphony that played directly on the tongue. Lily was in heaven. Claire was captivated. But a thread of unease remained. It was too good. The flavors were intense, almost sentient. "We have to bring some for Felix," Lily whispered, leaning in. Their roommate was buried in a work crisis. "He'll never believe us otherwise." When they asked their server for the truffle pasta to go, his polite smile stiffened. "I must check with chef," he murmured, and vanished. The dining room's gentle murmur seemed to hush, and then she appeared. Chef Alara glided from the kitchen's gloom. She was stunningly, unnervingly beautiful, pale as moonlight, with a face of delicate, porcelain perfection. Waves of jet-black hair cascaded over the shoulder of her pristine white chef's coat. But it was her eyes that arrested you. Large, dark, and depthless, like wells of still water. She smiled, a perfect, practiced curve of her lips, but it never touched those obsidian eyes. They remained cool, assessing. "My dears," her voice was smooth, melodious, yet it carried a strange resonance. "I must apologize. The soul of a dish. It is a fragile thing. It lives here, in the specific air, the specific light. To take it from its home is to break the spell. It would become hollow. I cannot allow that." Her dark gaze settled on Claire. The refusal was absolute, wrapped in a velvet chill. Later, Claire went to find the restroom and took a wrong turn. She found herself in a narrow, utilitarian hallway, far from the dining room's luxury. It was cold, and at the end, a heavy industrial door stood slightly ajar. From within, she heard it. A soft, wet, gnawing sound, and a low, rhythmic cooing. Then, the smell hit her, cloyingly sweet, like rotting lilies and rich, damp earth. Her blood turned to ice. "What are you doing here?" The voice came from directly behind her. Claire spun around. Alara stood there, having appeared without a sound. Her beautiful face was placid, but her smile was different now. Thin, greasy, not meant for guests. The toilet," Claire stammered, her heart hammering against her ribs. "I got lost." A flicker passed over Ilara's features. The greasy smile melted, replaced by one of warm, hostess-like concern. It was a jarring, seamless transformation. "Oh, you poor thing. It's so easy to get turned around." "It's this way," she said, her voice now all friendly chirpiness. She gently took Claire's elbow, her touch still cold, and led her firmly away from the heavy door, back toward the comforting noise of the dining room. "Just follow the corridor all the way to the end. You can't miss it." But the kindness in her voice didn't reach her eyes. They remained dark, watchful pools. Back at their apartment, Lily, emboldened by wine, produced a container from her bag. "I did it! I swiped some of the truffle pasta when you were in the restroom. For Felix." "Lily, no!" Claire hissed, the memory of that cooing sound and Ilara's shifting smile curdling in her stomach. "Didn't you feel it? That place is wrong." But it was too late. They left the smuggled container on Felix's desk. He was exhausted, bleary-eyed from coding, and barely registered them. Absently, he forked the cold, congealed pasta into his mouth. The scream that tore through the apartment wasn't human. It was a raw, guttural sound of violation and pain. They found him on the floor, convulsing. The empty container lay beside him, but it wasn't empty. The remnants inside moved. The noodles squirmed with tiny pale tendrils. The creamy sauce bubbled with a faint, sickly heat, emitting that same smell, rotting flowers and earth. It was as if the food was digesting itself, or worse, coming to a different kind of life. The hospital called it acute, rapid onset poisoning of unknown origin. The symptoms faded, but the horror didn't. Felix, pale and shivering, would only whisper to Claire, "It didn't want to be eaten, Claire. It wanted to eat." The story should end there, a lesson learned, but it doesn't. Greyhaven expanded. A new location opened every few months, each more stunning, more hyped, more impossible to book. The reviews were ecstatic monuments to Ilara's genius. But if you knew where to look, in the dark corners of the internet, in forgotten forum threads, you'd find the echoes. The one-star reviews that vanished within the hour. A user named Lost Appetite 87. "Food was magic. Asked for a single bite for my sick wife. 20-minute drive home. Opened the box. It was crawling. Not with bugs, with a gray mold that pulsed. Deleted. Traveler Gen. My dog went insane. Wouldn't stop barking at my handbag where I'd hidden a bread roll. Later the bag was empty. Not just the roll gone, the napkin it was in. Dissolved. User account not found." The negative reviews never lasted. They were swallowed, erased, drowned in a sea of 5-star praise. The truth at Greyhaven was a delicate, living ingredient. It needed to be contained. And in the original restaurant, in the deep quiet after closing, a light always burned in the back hallway. Behind the heavy door, if you pressed your ear to it, you'd hear the cooing. And you'd hear her voice, Ilara's voice, whispering with a love that was tender and terrible. "Shh, my darling, my precious, hungry heart. Don't be cross." The woman didn't understand. She tried to steal a piece of you. But you showed her, didn't you? You always come back to Mother. Their pleasure is your feast. Their desire is your wine. As long as they stay and eat and believe, you will never starve in the dark again. And I will never be alone. So remember this, the next time you taste perfection on a plate. Every masterpiece has its price. Every chef has their muse. Some are inspired by love, or art, or tradition. And some Some are inspired by a hunger that lives in a locked room, a hunger that demands to be fed on sight, a hunger that grows jealous when its gifts are taken. Because the special ingredient at Greyhaven wasn't truffle, or love, or skill, it was presence. And you can't box that up to go. More tales from the dark await. Subscribe for more.